Oh, you'll understand in a minute. All right, our next talk is by the Reverend Barbara Bew, and she said, Rev B squared works. Her talk is God for the Rest of Us, or May the Force be with you. Reverend Barbara supports an awesome spiritual community by bringing love and laughter to personal transformation, and she's a trooper after 2 knee replacements being up here, so welcome, Reverend.
Thank you, Vanna. So I do want to talk about God. I didn't actually consider talking about God and sex, which is kind of unfortunate. Maybe next time. But I actually want to talk to you about a different idea of God. And I want to start by saying that I know that God is really personal to each and every one of us. And that if you're happy with your version, awesome. I am not trying to change your mind or your religion. Maybe just expand it a little bit. Now, like probably many of you, I grew up with this idea of God that can still bring a picture to my head of this big white guy on a throne keeping track of everything I did wrong on a list on one hand and throwing lightning bolts out with the other hand. And there was actually pretty much no keeping this guy happy. No matter how hard I wanted to try, I was always going to get on that list. At some point, luckily kind of early on for me, I love that one, I figured out that who I was as a human being would never get off the list, so I kind of just gave up religion. Besides which, no one would answer my questions like that whole I am a jealous God thing. If you're like all-knowing and all-powerful, what is there to be jealous of exactly? And then there was the Satan dude, who I could blame for everything, but that just never really worked for me. So I tried some other, meaning not Christian things, like Wicca and Buddhism and native spirituality, and then I tried some other sort of things to see how those would work out. But what I really wanted was a spiritual path that would move me in 2 ways. One, in my heart, challenging me to expand my ability to love and to live a compassionate, non-judgmental life. And I had to work in my head, like not ignoring history and science. Now, I stumbled on New Thought, which is a metaphysical movement that came about in the late 1800s. And you can read about that history in a book called Spirits in Rebellion, which is a title I love. But New Thought was born as a healing movement that taught physical and spiritual healing through mental practice because no one wanted to go to the doctor in the 1800s. Now, fast forward through years of learning, and now we have this place where physics and spirituality are coming together to say the same thing. We're all energy, and we are surrounded by energy, and what we think shifts how that energy appears and works for and through us. Ernest Holmes, a New Thought founder, said life is a mirror that will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Schrodinger said basically, what do you think? Did you kill the cat or not? And Yoda said, my ally is the Force. And a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you. I say, something holds all of this together. When you get out to the end of the scientific pier and you're staring out at the vastness of the ocean, there is still an incredible infinite possibility out there. Now, I'm actually not looking to start the Church of George Lucas. But my conclusion is that God and the Force are the same thing. God is an energy that responds to our thought and our belief and says yes. I am convinced this energy is positive and good, and it is simply our misuse of it that creates the experiences that we call bad. The Force is not good or evil, except that we make it so. The good news is that we can create any kind of life we want starting today. The past does not actually have to predict the future. The Force works with us to create the life of our dreams. The bad news is that we are fully responsible for our experience, and there's no one to blame if we don't love our life. Now, a lot of people jump into this philosophy by creating the physical. We call it the 3 Ps, princes, palaces, and parking spaces, which is fun for a while. But then there is this inner urge that comes about to create something greater, to grow our faith and to grow our hearts and to continue the work of creating a world that works for everyone. The best news is that the Force is not separate from us. It moves through us and as us. And it always supports its greatest expression, which is each and every one of us living fully and laughing loudly, loving without fear, and most important, each other in ways we have not yet begun to understand. Learning to manage our thoughts in a way that is positive and constructive brings a lot of change to our life. We are perfect spiritual beings having human experiences, and we get to choose how our future unfolds. We can choose love, and we can choose joy, and we can choose abundance, and we can choose freedom. Albert Einstein said, "There remains something subtle, intangible, and inexplicable. Veneration for this force beyond anything we can comprehend is my religion." In conclusion, I just ask you to consider, if even for a moment, that changing your thinking really can change your life, because the force is with you.